The discussed aesthetic was a character that looked like it could have stumbled out of the valley at 3 a.m.
This video is made with generous donations from amazing furries, just like you.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to a new video. This week, being the first video of 2022, I will be doing a recap of all the fursuits I have made since my last Fursuits Evolution video. Link will be in the eye if you haven't watched that yet. 2021 was a weird year. I moved cities, I made a lot of changes in my work, and I am excited to share them all with you. So when we last left off, the last suit I made was Coda's head. Makes me realize it's been more like 18 months since we've last done one of these, so much more to get through. So July 2022, I finished off Honey the Thylacine. She was a really cool suit to make. I was really proud of the digi on her, and she has stylable hair with lots of hair strands that can be pulled into a ponytail or a bun using one of those bun donut things. She is owned by a good friend of mine, and I love seeing her out. Next was Nias, my first cheese boy, Sergal. I don't think I did too bad considering it's my first for the species. I really found the feet a challenge, as Sergals almost have like monkey hand style feet, so I went with long toes, and he also has little flat normal 2D hand paws too. I think next time I'll give a little bit more definition between the muzzle and the face, but this is why we learn. Next it was Hot Dog's turn. Oh, Hot Dog. Yes, he has nipples. Yes, the customer asked for that. Yes, he also has armpit and crotch hair, as well as a goatee. The discussed aesthetic was a character that looked like he could have stumbled out of the valley at 3 a.m. And I think I did alright. He even has a beer belly. And yes, that is made with padding too. Hot Dog does have a TikTok account if anyone is interested in following his chaos. Overall, super duper happy with this guy, and it's nice to do something that isn't so pristinely cute. Next was the Galaxy Sabre, and I think structure-wise I was pretty happy. I also just loved the overall look of the colours together. This gal was a pre-made and was snapped up pretty quick. I was over the moon with her. Then was my charity raffle suit. In light of certain events on Twitter, I wanted to do something positive to make a difference, so I ran a raffle where entries were determined by how much you donated to an animal rights charity, and this bean was the result. They also featured my first Wiggle Tails with no foam cores, and he also uses my first cast foam head base using expanding foam. So it came out nice and clean for the base. Next was a black and white Dutchie, and no, it is not Unus Annus themed, so don't even try that in the comments. Shush. This suit was also the suit made in my Dutch Angel Dragon head tutorial, and they now have a new owner who also has a TikTok. If you want to follow them, link will be down below. Next is Felix, the second head on my casted base, a real cutie, and I love the colours. Now was Pillow, my first ever kimono suit. After visiting Japan earlier in the year and studying the style as much as I could, I'd 3D modelled a base that I was happy with. I tried to get as close to traditional style kimono as possible, and I had to unlearn many things I learnt whilst making my usual style for the past 7 years to be able to replicate it. The Digigrade is also kimono style with large thighs and tiny feet. She also features my first proper integrated electronics as fans in the ears. Next up was a surprise suit for a Christmas gift. Jasper. He featured my first ever posable ears. You may remember me surprising a fan for her birthday video. This suit is now owned by them. They were also decked out with magnets, eyelids, and 2 tails. They have an Instagram and do incredible art, so you should definitely check them out. Next is T, my part of a trade with my sticker artist. T features interchangeable piercings, floppy ears, and a bit of a different head shape. Next is Troublemaker, the third character on my casted base, who has a little magnetic band-aid, super cute, and I always love me some floppy ears. Next we move on to 2021 with Skelly, my first Drecubus and the head made in my Drecubus head tutorial. The bone tail was a really big challenge, as well as those ears. They go all the way to the wearer's waist. I also swapped my art to my new eye style with the frames, and I honestly never looked back, and I cannot wait to see more of Skelly around the place. Now it was time for Furdu, and I was honoured to be one of their guests of honour last year and was hosting a dealer's den table, so I made 5 heads for Furdu. The first one was Biscuit the Reindeer. This was a trade with creature creations and costumes for my gorgeous bird suit you may have seen around. My first ever deer, and I was ecstatic with how they came out. Next, we have my regular pre-mades for the table, the goat, the tiger, and the Rave Fox. They all came out incredible. However, the Rave Fox will be the last suit I make on my canine casted base, and the design was made by Kanoi on Twitter as a small collaboration. We also had the Kimono Bunny suit, which turned out amazing as well, and my second kimono suit with all of the works. Then we have Squid, still one of my favourite suits to date. He is an Orphish Shiba Inu and he was such a joy to make. He included massive fins and my first ever webbed paws. Cygnus and Phoebe were next, cute couples matching suits with similar designs. I spent a lot of time over these next few digi suits altering the shape of my digi to get it how I want it. I wasn't too upset with the shape on these guys. Next up is Max. He was actually a full suit but I couldn't fit into his body, so the photos are just impartial. I started refining my head shape a bit more with him, as well as the template shape for my eyes. Then came Minty, a nice simple suit that I could spend time focusing on the shape and details on. This gal also has some cute little airbrush dots on her face, super sweet. Zorin was up next, my first plantigrade in a long time, and he has a very different look about him with his inverted eye colours too. It was great to refresh my plantigrade body practice and knowledge. Brocket was next, did a really cool mane on them on the back using fur direction, and I was really quite chuffed with that, and I think they turned out amazing. Next was Jasper. You may remember him from the Fursuit Head tutorial series. I was so stoked with how his head came out. I started experimenting with different fur lengths on different places to see what would give the most dynamic look, and I am in love with what I learned. He also has very detailed markings which were fun to do as well. Next up was Ashen. He is one very striped boy and a slightly different hair than what I'm used to making. I used a layered effect like kimono suits tend to have, but not quite to the same volume. You could say I'm chuffed with him. Now we reach the end of 2021. We have this beautiful boy that I'm sure a lot of you have seen, Kuro, my first kimono cat, and I love him very, very much. He now lives in Sweden, so I hope to see him around at cons up there. First, and to finish it off, we have two heads for full suits, Loki and Cam. Cam is my first Western-style rabbit head, and I'm very pleased with the shape of him too. Couldn't be more pleased with how he came out, to be honest with you. And finally, Loki's head, my first Kimono Canine. I extended the muzzle of my kimono base a bit and more than I usually would, and I'm pretty happy with him. I really enjoy making kimono suits, and he's the last one in my queue for a while. So I'll have to see if I can squeeze a kimono pre-made in between commissions. And that's it. I think I've improved a lot over the last 18 months, and I can't wait to show you guys what I get up to in 2022. Which fursuit was your favorite from the past 18 months? Let me know down below. I love you all, and I'll see you next time with another video. Goodbye now. Bye-bye.